Hello everyone, and we continue building BudgetClick-2026 open source, serverless, multi-client, client encrypted, progressive web application for tracking and planning personal finance. And today we implement initial data flow and entities CRUD. CRUD stands for create, read, update, delete. And let's go step by step. First of all, we added shared components, data grid and light select. Data grid looks like this and select looks like this. Those are the shared UI components, and we will use them throughout the application. Next commit is adding accounts CRUD. Let's go through the files. Repository data. It exports one function, initialize data. It gets the accounts from the database and updates state. I also added state accounts file, which does exactly this, updates account state in the application state. I have changed the state itself. I added data. Initialize state also changed, and update state function was added to update the data by the key. So in our case, the key will be accounts, and that data will be updated. Repository account, two exported functions, dbGet accounts and dbSave accounts, and one constant object store name is account. Now let's go through the views. List accounts. This is a new view. It uses data grid to show the accounts. It has the columns name, description, currency, current balance, and actions. It is sortable, it is filterable, and it has pagination. Let me show how it looks like. Accounts. This is list of the accounts. I have already created one account here, and this is the data grid. This is how it looks like. This is a shared standard component. It has pagination, it has sorting, it has filtering, and there's one button on this interface, create button, which redirects us to the create account view. Create account view is here. We use shared components light input field, two buttons, save, cancel. Cancel just goes back, and save button calls the save function. Save function is here. It initializes an object, then attempts to save the data, and then goes to accounts, to the list of accounts. Similarly, we have edit account, which has the same number of fields and the same buttons, and the save function does exactly the same. It saves data and it updates the data in accordance with the changed fields values, and then it goes back to the accounts view. And this is the last view in the accounts CRUD interfaces. This is how it looks like. Just shows the name, description, currency, and current balance. It also has edit button and the back button. Edit button drives us to account ID edit or editing account view, and button back sends us back to the list of accounts. I also removed the state index file because it is redundant. It only exports what is already exported from the modules. Next commit, update state on save data. I update the data flow. Data flow is as follows now. It adds update state step. Before that it only saved to the database, and now the data is saved to update state. And I forgot to cover the addition of the data flow. The data flow file was added in the previous commit, implement accounts CRUD, and this is the central data flow file, which defines the flow of the data. And the flow will be as follows: first save, then update state, then save to the storage, and then update manifest. Updating manifest includes everything updating in the database, updating in the cache or the application state, and saving back to storage. Other changes which were added at this implement accounts CRUD commit is the change to the upstate type. I added data and accounts, adding the data key. Data key is used in data flow. You see, this is the data key. Let's actually quickly go through the data flow. So we have the type, data types. It only has accounts now, and data key defines those data keys. So we have data keys, only one data key, accounts. I later changed it, but let's go step by step. Then we have save data input, which is an object which consists of two properties, key and data. And data type comes from the data type, and in our case there's only one entry, account. Then we have the encode data. We have the update manifest. It gets the manifest, then it creates a new date, it increments the version of the manifest, and then it saves the manifest. Saving manifest saves it in the database, and put file saves the manifest, the updated manifest, to the storage. Then we have the save function getter. Depending on the key, it will return the database save function. In our case, this is only db save accounts, but later there will be more reference data savers. Okay, and for now there's only one step implemented, which is saving data to the database. init.ts also updated. We initialize data. Initializing data is simply getting the data from the database. So this is initialize data, db get accounts, and updating states, accounts. Router has changed, of course. We needed to add accounts, CRUD, routes, and storage has changed because we removed this index.ts. Storage now imports the functions directly from the module. Roadmap also updated. I have added this new step, implement initial data flow and CRUD for all entities. This is exactly what we are doing right now. Next step, data flow update. We've just covered that. We added the new step, update state. Next commit is a minor change. I have fixed this small cosmetic issue with the import path. Everywhere in every file, the input path now starts with the character @ The next step and the next commit is implementing save accounts to storage. Let's start with the data flow. You see that a new step has been added here, or put file. So we save this data to the storage. Accounts was added to the menu. I probably had to add this item to the menu on the previous commit. There are also a lot of minor changes which look like fixing and debugging. We see that we added new error accounts have not been initialized. Same logic have been added to the state modules, accounts module, and in the state account is initialized as null. And the types have changed accordingly. So now it's account storage or null. Now let's continue to the next step. And the next step is we updating the storage metadata when the data updates. So updated data will be now storage metadata and the data itself. As you can see, we update the updated add field, and we also update updated by, and we increment the data version. And the next commit, we update the manifest. So this is the last step in the data flow. We add update manifest step, and this is the function. Saving manifest to storage has been removed here because it is already saved in the manifest file. We already have this put file function call, and manifest will be saved to the storage here. Next step, add contractors, CRUD. We just replicate the functions of the accounts. So basically same create contractors, edit contractor, list contractors, view contractor views, which follow the same pattern as accounts. So we have two buttons, edit and back, and we just show the fields in the view contractor. Also list contractors uses the data grid, and the columns are name, description, and actions. And we have three buttons, one global button for the whole view, and two more buttons, view and edit, for each row of contractors. And we also add a router link contractors to the menu. We add repository which gets contractors and saves contractors. Data initialization adds update state contractors, and contractors db get contractors. Upstate data also adds contractors, type of contractor storage or null. Data key enum adds contractors. Data flow also adds contractors. Router adds contractor CRUD path, and the state itself adds initial values for contractors, which is null. Next, and similar step, adding categories CRUD, completely the same actions. We add views, we add the menu item, we add the routes, we add the state, we also add data types to data flow, we update data key enum. Upstate is also updated with data and categories type. Repository data initializes data with categories in the state, and the data is taken from db get categories. Repository category is also added to get and save categories in the database. The next step is improvement of the contract. In our initial contract, we had defined that every entity would have a schema version, and at the same time the envelope for the storage also have the schema version, and this is redundant information. We don't need schema version for every account. By default, every account will have the schema version defined in the object storage. The object storage is here: client, type, storage, storage metadata, schema version. So every storage object, for example account storage, is actually storage metadata and the list of accounts. So there's no need to specify schema version for every account. It's enough to specify the schema version for this storage, for account storage. The next step is again minor cosmetic improvements. We just fix this path. Next step, we fix tests after the changes. We improve imports, and we fix missing imports everywhere. Next step is minor improvement again. Client tests unit config state config test moved to client's test units because there was only one test in this directory. So I have simplified the path and I moved this test directly to the unit test. A new test is added. I actually had to do this before this episode, in the end of the last episode, where I implemented IndexedDB. So I finish this now. I create this database test in the unit test, and this tests tests if the database was initialized. Actually, it tests when the database was initialized here, but here it tests whether the application throws an error if the database has not been initialized. And the last test is does not initialize database more than once. We need to initialize the database only once, and not twice and not 3 times. Then I added migration test. The database test was updated, and now it's called initialize database and run migrations. Migrations are run at the initialization step. And the migration test itself, it runs pending migrations. It does not run migrations when database is up to date. It propagates migration errors. And the next commit is test data. We test data flow. It updates, saves, and uploads account data. It throws when the manifest reference is missing. And the next step is contractors test. It creates valid contractor data. So the data which is created in the create step is validated. Here, validate contractor. Next test is updates contractor data with valid entity data. Similar to creation, it checks whether updated data is valid. And the same test for categories and accounts. The next step is adding tests for the loading state and UI. So this is the test for the loading state. It sets loading on and off. It stays loading while at least one loading ID remains, and it ignores an unknown loading ID without affecting active loading. I actually had to add this test at a step when I added the loading state, but it's better to add it later than never. So later is better than never, or better later than never. And the test of the UI, it shows the overlay while loading, and it hides the overlay while not loading. And here I added one more directory, tests unit UI, which will test the UI. Next commit is cleanup. Accounts module is removed from the state modules. We don't need to update the states of the data in their own modules. Instead, we update them in the state itself. We already have the update state function, and that function can update a state depending on the key. Then I simplified the structure of directories. The state modules directory was flattened to the state directory, and all the files, actually there were only two files, config and settings. Those state files moved to the state directly, and now we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, and later 5 files in the state directory. And the similar changes in the init.ts, the directory path simplified. Instead of state module, we load from state config. Same change in settings view, and same change in storage ts, and completely the same changes in the tests, config test and settings test. On the next commit, I simplified or improved the utility, development utility, which I use for concatenation of files, which will be sent to LLM. And now this utility will open the export file immediately in the edit window. And this is how it looks like. I just copy path of these files, then I use the run task and concat, and as you can see, this file is opened. The 001 file was generated, and it was opened immediately without the need to look for this file. The next simplification is moving app view to components. It used to be in the client root directory, and now I moved it to components, where all the view components are located. And the main TS was updated accordingly, so the app view was moved from the root to components. Setup flow was a little bit debugged. This issue was causing that the data was not initialized at the first setup, at the first initial launch of the application, and now the data is initialized at the first launch. And in this commit, I improve the setup flow. Now we will require at least one account to be created, and we need this before before we proceed to transaction, because a transaction must be attached to an account by our data model contract. Every transaction has an account. A transaction cannot be done without an account. So this requirement has been added to the setup flow. And let me show you how it looks like. This is the initial launch, or the first launch of the application, and you see that this welcome page has changed. Now it says, welcome to BudgetClick. Your application is not configured yet. Please complete the following steps to get started. Configure initialize storage, configure client ID, and create your first account. So if we go and configure settings, in our case this will be storage and client local dev. And now first two steps are marked complete, and this step is still pending. Create a first account, and the button has changed from setup settings to create account. So we click this button and we can create account, for example main account with USD currency. Click save, and now we see the list of available accounts. We have the main currency USD. Let's change it. Description, this is the main and the original or the first account. Good. Next commit is fixing build errors. I will not go into every change. This was needed just to fix mainly types errors. There's a lot of changes in data types, simplifications, and fixes. And now the next big step is creating and saving a transaction. We needed to create the first account here to allow transactions to be created. So we add similar scripts and functions: repository transaction, db get chunks, db save chunk, and db get chunk. For our data model, we have the reference data saved in a storage, and chunks have many storages or many objects. Each storage refers to 1 month. So 1 month means 1 storage. We also update the data key. I will later change it, but for now let's see how it's done on this step. So we add a new data key chunks, and the data flow add save transaction data, which follows basically the same flow: db save chunk, update state, put file, and save manifest. Migration has changed as well. This is the first migration, and we can update it now because we are still in development and this has not been published, and no data was used in production yet. In this migration we create object store chunks. The record editor already existed, and now it was updated to extend the number of fields. We used 2 input fields for description and for the amount of the transaction, and that was not even dummy data. That was only the user interface, which was not hooked to any functions, any database, or any live data. And now we connect this to the live data. So we have 4 input fields: description, amount, account, which is a light select, which we added in the first commit in this episode, and the last one is a date time type field for date and time of the transaction. We still have the same buttons: save, and the second button, cancel, was removed, so we have only 1 button now. And here we have the functionality. The main function is save record. It updates the existing chunk for the current month. Actually, it takes the existing chunk, or it creates a new chunk with empty transaction list, and on the next step it adds the transaction to the list of transactions and attempts to save it. This saved transaction data is in data flow. State was also updated with chunks object initialized as empty object. And this is all for this step for create and save a transaction. I will later continue working on transaction saving and data flow, and the next commit is create and save transaction. Actually, this commit is covered already. So the next commit is show transactions on the dashboard. So here the spreadsheet is updated. Quite a lot of changes here. A spreadsheet was not connected to live data, and now this is connected. As you can see in the left, there was dummy data not connected to the database, and here we have the real data, and we actually use the data grid here, and before we didn't use the data grid, and we added data grid in the first commit here. Add data grid and light select to our components. The transactions are computed from the chunks in the state, and we flatten on all the chunks and map them to the data grid row. And this is the data grid columns: actual, date, amount, currency, description, and account name. And this is how it looks like. So this is a data grid. For the moment it's empty. This is the add edit record widget. And let me create a record, save, and now you see that this is the actual column, this is the date, amount, currency, description, and account. And this is the standard data grid, which is shared across the application. The next commit is a minor change. We saved the object without respecting storage contract. We were saving the files in the storage directory, and by our documentation, our storage layout has to be segmented so that the file list is not growing too long. And we do this in this storage layer. Unless this file is manifest, we save the file in this directory, which is the first letter of the object name. Next commit is again building errors and minor refactor of the names. For example, save transaction data was renamed to save chunk data, just to keep the name in uniform. We will use the name chunk instead of transaction, although transaction is more logical, but we already started to use chunk. Later we will see if we rename chunk to transaction or not, but for now let's use chunk. Also, data was renamed into reference data, and chunks were moved out of the data object in the state. And we can see this in the upstate type. The reference data is now in the first level of upstate, and chunks is also on the same level as reference data. And that allowed us to get rid of data key enum. Data flow was also refactored a little bit. We renamed save data into save reference data, and save transaction data into save chunk data. Save chunk data function was also simplified. Instead of updating the manifest right in the body of this function, we reuse bump manifest function, which is a rename from update manifest. Now it's called bump manifest. The state module was changed accordingly. Data was renamed to reference data, and chunks were moved out of the data object. Initialize state changed accordingly. Reference data and chunks on the same level, and update data was changed as well. And also we now have update reference data state, and we can update every reference object directly. Update chunk state was added, so now we can update the chunks one by one given the key, which is the month. And we have the same changes in all the views: view contractors, list contractors, edit contractors, create contractors, and so on. Dashboard views have changed accordingly: spreadsheet and record editor, and that will be yield for this commit. The next commit is an improvement of the data flow. It now sets the loading globally, so that we don't need to take care about that in the views. And the next commit is improvement of the design. In our data contract, identifiers follow this format. So we have a prefix for the object, T for transaction, A for account, C for contractor, and K for category. And it is followed by 8 characters. And actually here we have type prefixes for transaction, account, category, contractor, attachment, and recurrence, which will be implemented in the future. I added the new module entity_ts, which generates entity ID using the prefix and returns it like this: prefix dash prefix underscore and ID. And create account, create category, create contractor, and record editor all use the same generate entity ID to generate the corresponding entity ID with the correct prefix. The next commit adds transaction test. It tests if the module creates a new chunk when saving the first transaction for a month. So when a transaction is created and a chunk for this month doesn't exist, then a new chunk must be created, and this is tested here. It tests if creation appends to an existing chunk of the same month, and it also checks the UI if it resets the form after saving. The next commit is again improvement of the data flow design. Now it is transactional. Before this change, data flow didn't know if something is broken during this flow of the data. And now it attempts to run all those steps: database, save chunk, update chunk state, put file, and update manifest, update and save manifest. And if there's an error, then it catches the error and shows the error on the UI. And for that reason, show error function was added and error state was added. It is similar to the loading state. Loading state acts globally. It sets loading on, sets loading off, and if the loading ID is not empty, then the loading overlay is displayed on the UI. Error works the same way. So there is an error state, which is a global first transaction. This will be all for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next episode and by our roadmap. The next episode will be dedicated to encryption layer.